Hey, Ramy,
What's up, man?
what's up? How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, man, I'm really appreciate that you also have the old school headphones now.
We've been told to use these because the AirPods are a little inconsistent, I think, with sound. So we're going old school at the moment.
I love it.
Yeah. So how have you been? How's this whole quarantine been for you?
It's mostly been finishing the show, so it's been a lot to get it done during quarantine. I'm super appreciative of all the people who are editing things out of their homes, and I just imagine like everyone mixing sound and editing and color, like doing all these things, as they're questioning their marriages is a very intense experience.
But so how was that for you? How was editing and doing all that stuff for season two out of from home? Completely
Yeah,
unexpected.
really unexpected. It's just everything took way longer. We actually had like a couple of days of shooting that we were planning on still doing that we didn't get to. So it was a lot of creative fixes in post and that kind of thing. But yeah, really happy with getting to share it now.
Absolutely. And so let's set it up for us, Ramy. Where is Ramy going into season two? He made a lot of mistakes in season one.
Yeah.
Where do we find him going into season two?
Yeah, he makes even more mistakes in season two. I mean, I think so much of season one is kind of this aspirational thing for our
Mm.
character, for Rami. And I think season two is very transformational. Like he goes from kind of asking who am I to really reckoning with who he actually is and having to deal with that and those problems. And I think that there's a lot of clarity that he tries to seek through his sheikh, who is played, obviously masterfully by Mahershala Ali.
Absolutely. He's the big new addition this season. Talk to me
Yeah,
about how you got him to come on board. He's a heavyweight actor, I think it's fair to say.
super heavyweight, and he called me just on the vibe of, hey, I'm a practicing Muslim as well, and really appreciate what you're putting out there. And he was just really, he's like the kindest guy. And then, it just turned into us hanging out. And then, of course, I had to ask if he'd want to be on it. And then it turned into, it was kind of like, hey, do you want to come do one or two episodes? And then it became really the arc for our season.
You guys had to, I think you told me before, you had to rip up quite a lot of what you'd done before, right? To get him into this season.
We were like a month into doing stuff, and then we are like, all right, we gotta play with this.
And what was he like on set? I think you shared a video of him. Maybe was it after you'd won the Globe? I can't remember. Or no, it was when you were nominated for the Globe. What was he
So
like to work with on set?
he's amazing, amazing. I mean, he does not come out with the energy of. I think some people would like bring their Oscars to set and kind of show you what's what, but no, he's so he leads by like listening. He shows up and he's just really taking everything in, asking the best questions, bringing himself to every scene, and it was inspiring.
Absolutely. And but so you've won a Globe now. He's got two Oscars. You're kind of halfway halfway towards his level of clout, Rami. No?
I mean, the second half will be a very long half, but um, yeah.
So talk about that Golden Globes night, Rami. What was that like for you? We got a comment earlier that said that your Golden Globe speech deserved itself to win a Golden Globe. So how how was that night for you?
I honestly think it's just because it was short. I tried to keep it concise. It was an unbelievable night. I mean, it was the first award of the night just in the program, which is kind of amazing because you pretty much know your fate right away. You don't have to sit through. You can kind of enjoy the rest of the night. And I think it was unexpected, obviously, because I really felt like we were not a show that had star power. Obviously, season two we get Mahershala, but certainly not season one. I think everyone in the show is amazing. I mean, I love my cast. Like my cast is the kind of cast where I think if you wanted to, you could probably pick anyone from the cast and say that they're the best part of the show. Like that's how good I think the cast is. But yeah, we don't have that recognizable Billboard energy on season one. So to get to be recognized and win that, it came from a place where it's hard to kind of put a finger on the rush of that, but it was, really grateful for it.
Yeah, and what did the night look like afterwards? Because you had the whole, as you said, you were the first award, so you had the whole night to celebrate.
Yeah, whole night carrying the thing. It's pretty heavy. It's misleadingly heavy. I was definitely sore the next day. It was really nice though. My sister was with me and we had a great time. And I was, I think like I was in shock. I kind of almost still am because I was still working on season two. We left pretty early in terms of one of those nights. I think I was back home by, I think before midnight, but then at a certain point I was hanging out with my friends playing cards. And then at a certain point I was like, all right, I gotta open up my laptop. I gotta work on this script because we're shooting this week. We're in the middle of production,
Yeah.
And so that reality came back really quick.
Such a fun answer, I mean. Okay. So we have Mahershala coming in this season, obviously a big addition. We have some other interesting guest stars. You want to tease who else is coming in this season?
Yeah, we have Mahershala Ali. We have Mia Khalifa. Basically, all the award winners are on, and we also, I think, we learned a lot more about our cast that we have. Again, the cast that I really love, and so it's nice to get them more room to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. They each get one individual episode again, right? Ramy's mom gets one, Ramy's dad gets one, Ramy's sister, and also one for Uncle Nassim this season as well, which I think people may be a little surprised by.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of like a deeper dive on sides of them that we hadn't seen yet.
And so, talking about Mia Khalifa, what was that? What was it like shooting with her? Talk about her part a little bit that she plays.
Yeah, well, something that the episode. The season 2 storyline again focuses on Ramy's problems in a more clear way, and we kind of get into this idea of a pornography addiction that he's dealing with, which is kind of stemming off of intimacy issues that he has, and he really, in a weird way, kind of intersects with Mia Khalifa, and we kind of felt like because the show was talking about this topic, it would feel interesting to actually hear from someone who's directly involved in it. And I think her scene kind of provides to complicate the context a little bit around some of the conversations that we've had.
I think that's fair to say. And as you said, Ramy, he's doing a lot of introspection this season. And, talk about the role that Mahershala Sheikh plays in this season and in changing him as a character, or not changing him, maybe.
Yeah, he is. What's exciting to me is I really wanted to see a religious leader that felt like a real person, that wasn't a caricature of someone of faith, that wasn't just dramatically a hypocrite. I think there's just like this image of the priest who does cocaine, or there's these cartoonish, heaven and angels, and we're at the gates of heaven, where it's all kind of living in hyperbole and it's all living in metaphor. I really have always wanted to look at a genuine faith journey in a show like this, and so to have a character who still feels like a real human but also believes in the faith, it was really exciting.
And of course there's his daughter Zainab as well, who comes into the picture. Not to give too much away, but she's a pretty important character this season.
Big part, and again with Zainab as well, it was so exciting to show a practicing Muslim woman who really believes in the mission of the work that she's doing with her father, but also again is her own person and has her own complications, and it's really exciting to have them exist on the show as beacons for Ramy.
And I think through those two characters, you certainly explore colorism in the Muslim community as a topic this season. Why was that important to you to discuss that this season?
I mean, it's like, just kind of like look at the country right now, even like today, it's really, this is in every community, and it's certainly, I think there's this dialogue that it's white people are the only ones, being racist, or the only ones who are, operating from prejudice. And I've always said that's not true. Everyone's doing that. There's a lot of anti-blackness in the Arab community. There's a lot of anti-blackness that exists. White people are just the best at it. They're most professional at institutionalizing it, but everyone's certainly trying to play the game, and it really needs to be addressed. And so for us to show our characters going through that, dealing with that, just highlighting it as a reality, I think was important for the humanity of the characters of Sheikh Ali and Zainab.
Yeah, you mentioned especially what's going on today. I saw you shared a lot this morning of resources, to share about the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. So it's it's a very disturbing time.
Yeah, it's a really odd time to be doing anything other than just wishing there was something that could be done. And so I've posted a couple things, posted about Minnesota Freedom Fund and a few other things that I think people should check out.
Yeah, absolutely. So with season 2, there's we've talked about some of the people who are in the season, but I saw you mentioned there's someone else who was potentially going to be in the season, but then it didn't quite work out. Tell us about that, Ramy.
That was funny. I said this offhandedly. I was talking to somebody and I was like, oh yeah, we had Kath Lindsay Lohan to be in it, and she man, I mean, I had a great combo with her. And then thought she was coming. She was on the call sheet. We were kind of prepped for it. And just didn't. I'm not sure where she was because I knew she was in New York. But then I was like, maybe she went back overseas. But the time I did get to talk to her was great. She was such a cool person. So I think I felt like we connected. And then I didn't hear from her. And so I'm looking forward to getting her involved moving forward because I'm a huge fan of her work, and I think that she's due for a return renaissance any day now, and so I'm excited to be part of that. Hopefully, inshallah.
So you don't know what happened there? You don't know what she just dropped the ball at some point?
I don't know. I don't know. There was no one ever. We were just like, well, there was.
Miscommunication, maybe. I don't know. Something happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I mean, obviously, she's a white person who converted to Islam, and that's also a topic of this season. Talk about that as a topic this season with a couple characters, I think.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing that one of our characters who we met last season, Michael, who's played by Michael Chernus, and he talks about being a convert to Islam and how difficult it was for him with his own family, but then he finds this sense of community, and he becomes someone who really introduces Ramy to the Sheikh. And the idea of converts in Islam, often called reverts, is really powerful because there's such an attraction, I think, to the faith from them. It's not like they were born into it. And I think in many ways they are very important parts of communities and don't get talked about, and things that they've given up and where they're at. And so even just a small moment with him was exciting. And then I think we also played a little bit on the trope of the idea that converting to Islam was some sort of marker of violence or something like that. And we have an example of a character who clearly is going through something that has nothing to do with Islam. And it's actually the thing that's helping him the most, but he still ends up in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, but that situation that he ends up in is in response to some Islamophobic chanting outside the mosque, outside Ramy's mosque. So that, I mean, there was some of that in season 1, but do you feel like that's more? You feel like you wanted to explore that more like overtly in season 2?
Yeah, it was exciting to get into things that we didn't get into. So I think that so many of the identity things that we touched on in season 1, it was exciting, and it felt like we did them probably the best that we could. And so I think it's just like our job as a show to continue to move into other storylines. Yeah.
Okay. And obviously season two out today. I know it's very, very premature, but where are we at with any potential future seasons, Ramy? What are have you had any talks? Where are we at?
Hey man, I'm ready. So whenever Hulu's ready, I'm ready. We'll make it happen hopefully. But yeah, there's a lot. It's exciting. I think finishing the second season because yeah, in my mind I'm like, man, we're just getting started. There's like so many things that we really want to get into.
Which, if you obviously you've had some really interesting new characters introduced this season. If you had to pick any like top three or any other Muslim actors that you wanted to throw in going forwards, who would you say?
Well, we got to get Mohammed Salah in here, man. That's yeah. If we can get Mo Salah on,
He's not an actor though, is he?
we'll make him one. I got no problem with that. He absolutely will be able to. That guy's a legend. So that's what I'm putting out there, and so it'll be that would be really fun.
You've put it out there, so now it's going to happen.
I'll put it out there.
He's not playing football at the moment anymore, so because of this shutdown, so he's got nothing better to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So let's talk about at the end of last year, you signed a big, amazing deal with A24 to produce more content, right? And I think you have a couple of shows in the works. One with Steven, who's obviously in this season.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us about that show? About the other stuff you got in the pipeline?
Yeah, we're looking at a bunch of things that that I'm really excited about. But the show with Steve is so exciting to me because I think in a lot of when we talk about making Ramy, it's so much about it as well. We've never seen fully fleshed out Muslim characters. They're only in the context of violence, or maybe they're only a side character or something like that. And that couldn't even be, it's even more true for disabled characters, right? Like we've never really seen them in their own environments and in their own communities in a comedic context, where it's not a story that's framed around someone else's story, but really their own and from their voice. And so, yeah, I'm really pumped. It's a world that's Steve and a predominantly disabled cast and their families, and looking at what that means to be disabled and to still want to figure out how to be independent, which is it's contradictory in a sense, because there is this level of dependence you have to have on somebody. But I think that's kind of where we're all at. Any of us who think we're actually independent, we do still depend on other people. So to get to see that played out with these characters is really exciting.
And what stage is that at right now? Right
now, we're in development at Apple, and so we're hoping to get picked up. I'm hoping to get that picked up at end of Ramy season 3. But that would be really fun.
That would be the jackpot.
Steve, that would be the best.
Steve plays another big part this season. Can you tease anything about what happens to his character in season 2?
Steve and Ramy have the most, I would say, the most definitive moment of their friendship that they've ever had, and we really learn a lot about where they stand on certain things, and they come very close together. So
you could say that they come very close towards the end of the season, especially.
Yeah.
What else have you got, Ramy, in the pipeline? Obviously, you had your stand-up special last year. Any plans for any more of those?
Yeah, working on it. I have a notebook of stuff. Making the show, I didn't get to do a bunch of stand-up. Before the pandemic, I was getting out there, starting to run a new hour. So I only got to run it like 4 or 5 times. And so I think, once we realize kind of where we're at, just in being able to all get together, I really miss stand-up because I love television. I love putting things out at this frequency, but the ability to just be in a room with people where the joke won't exist anywhere else but in that room, it's so freeing, and it's really, you get to connect in a way that I definitely miss. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that once we're able to do that. So, I don't know when that'll be. When do you think?
I have no idea. Well, I was going to ask you, because stand-up's taken such a massive hit, man. It really has. Like some of the biggest clubs in LA and New York are having to close down for financial reasons. So how do you think, stand-up is going to recover from this?
I don't know how, but I know that it will. I just know that it's something that we need. I mean, we really, I think we're always going to want it. We're always going to want that feeling of being in a room. It's irreplaceable. Like you can't stream that. People are doing it, and I think bringing comfort to people. So I'm not knocking streaming stand-up, but I think that we'll always still want to experience the real thing. I don't see it getting phased out, and I just know that, yeah, we'll figure out how to rebuild.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear from you, Ramy, as to how, like, your stand-up, how that hour set that you were doing, how that changed because of the writing of the show. Like, do you feel like you have to use some stuff for Ramy the show, some stuff for your stand-up? Like, how do you divide the two in your mind?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff from the stand-up special are in the backbone of season 1, and season 2 sits more in the fiction we've created for the characters, but also a lot of my stand-up is woven into that too as I was doing it on stage. So the crossover is not doesn't bother me, just because I kind of feel like, well, on stage I get to talk about it more fully, right? It's not dialogue between characters. I can kind of crack open an idea a little wider. So I think the intersecting themes is something I like, but I also think the newer material I was working on is almost more things that I would imagine in season 3 that, hopefully we get to do that.
Okay, so some of that stuff could end up in season 3 if it happens.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. That's exciting. So now that season 2 is done, it's out. What are you going to do? I mean, you can't go out and party right now, obviously, but like, what's the plan? What's the plan for the rest of quarantine, however long that lasts?
I just saw a comment from Dima Tima, so waving back. The plan right now is to just keep, again, working on the Steve thing. You make these things, you feel like a crazy person. Like, I'm so exhausted from making season 2, and we finally delivered it 3 days ago. We were done with notes, and I had like an Apple Note thing on my phone, like with like season 3 stuff. We should do this. And I'm like, dude, I'm just ready. I'm ready in a way, but I also, I want to take like 3 weeks off, chill. I haven't seen my family in a bit because of the pandemic. So trying to figure out, getting my dad into an RV or something, because he doesn't want to go to the airport. So maybe we'll get him in an RV from Jersey to LA. So we'll see. Figuring out how to plan that. But otherwise, I've been bike riding. I've learned how to cook. That we're all chefs now. We're all like.
Are we though? Are we, Ramy? I don't know if we are.
Yeah.
What have you been learning to cook? What's your go-to?
Man, everything. I'm go-to. I actually had a year and a half where I was vegan, and I really liked it. But something about not eating meat for that long, now all I ever want is steak. It's really weird. And that was years ago. But now I really like making a steak, but I probably will make pasta, every other day. That's really my go-to.
That's the staple.
That's the staple. But I get into making the sauce. It's not just beginner pasta. I'm looking up sauce recipes. I'm not being basic.
We're not talking Kraft mac and cheese here.
No. This is just a level of respect
to the dish. Have to. Great. Well, Ramy, thanks so much for joining me, man. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. And congrats on season 2. It's so good, and I encourage everyone in the chat and everyone commenting to go check it out if they haven't already, of course.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Ramy. Take care.
You too.